Hi everyone, this is Dragoman Translation podcast. We share tips on languages, translation, editing, interpreting, subtitling, and localization. In this episode, our host Umit Ozaydin welcomes co-founder of Taia Translation Services, Matija Kovac. So let's start.
We have talked so much about this, automation cloud, but I see on your website that you have a machine translation focus, and this focus, I'm sure you have built an expertise in-house. So, what is your take on machine translation? Is it just about, having a nice customized engine and then finding, some very careful and diligent post editors or reviewers, or what is, if I may say so, what is the science or what is the art of the machine translation to do it right, to meet the client's expectations?
So I think to understand this topic a bit better, we'd have to rewind time just a few years back. Now, maybe some of your listeners are not familiar with this, or they are, I don't know, but let's assume that we're talking to a crowd of people who've never heard a lot about machine translation. They know Google Translate exists or something similar, right? And if you remember back in the day, everyone was laughing about Google Translate and the quality that this statistical machine translation engines produced, and it was more or less a joke for a long time. And slowly it improved in quality, but until very, very recently, I think it was just about 2016, it's when the industry finally changed its technology from statistical-based engines and rule-based engines all the way into neural machine translation. And it was then at this point in time that I realized, Marco, my co-founder as well, that there's this giant wave of automation in localization industry that's coming, and it's coming with as a tsunami, you might say. And as a company that was already, getting into the localization industry, but we weren't well established yet back then. We were still a small company. It was more of a side business for us because we had another project going on at that time. And we realized that either we go all the way in and we embrace this technology and become masters of it and be able to serve this tsunami, or we will be just like any other traditional localization provider that's probably going to get swept under this huge wave of automation. And that said, Taia has always been built around the concept of AI assistance for translations. This is where even the name comes from, as a sort of an acronym for that. And we tried to build our entire business model around leveraging on this new technology to help us deliver professional translations much faster and much more efficiently. And back in 2016, when we first started developing these concepts for this brand, this was a brand new premise. Not many companies were working with post-machine translation editing because machine translation just wasn't that good unless you had a very specific use case. And now we're coming into the era where machine translation will be able to cover more and more needs of human engagement, of human contact. And what it does is you can already see huge companies, e-commerce platforms specifically, who serve millions of users with content that is exclusively machine translated. This is something that even 6 years ago would have been inconceivable because the quality of machine translation was just so bad. So where we are now at this stage is there's not only Google Translate or any of these general machine translations, there's this huge opportunity out there for clients who have a proper data set to build custom machine translation solutions just for them. And they can work much better than anything that's already available on the market. And this is something that's really exciting for us, because as we work more with the clients and we build their data sets and we build their translation memories, we can also use this data to train engines and help them perform better, so that the price reduction and time necessary to get something done will be reduced even further. So I'm really looking forward to when we get even more and more of these projects and get more involved into this area.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Dragoman Transcreation podcast. Remember, you can always be a guest speaker in our future episodes if you like podcasting. Join us again next time for more tips and tricks from industry professionals. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned.